Hey there, all you cool cats and kittens. What? We're not doing that anymore? You won't do that? Alright. Hey there, guys, this is Matthew. Today here we're going to be showing you off a model that I had built in Maya. In a couple of different facets here. First, we'll take a look at it in the actual Maya program. I'll show you some pictures of the actual rendering of the project itself, and then we'll take a look at it in Unity in a fairly eccentric fashion. So first off, let's take a look at what we built here in Maya itself. Here is the model. Gray box. I have a sky dome in the background. You can forgive that. It's not a great one, but for the renders, it did what it needed to do. So this is based off an actual monastery in France. This is the Saint Paul de Mausole. I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly since it's French. The asylum in which actually Vincent van Gogh had stayed at during his time of recovery. I use the term recovery loosely because shortly after his discharge from the hospital, we know what historically happened. So, looking at it first here, we got the entrance. This didn't appear to be the actual entrance in the original. It looked like it was built in several stages, and I think this was part of the original, and the sides of the building here were actually added on later. We'll look at some pictures in comparison if my screen recording will allow it appropriately. So here's the actual entrance to the monastery. The featuring piece here is a Gothic rose window tracery. Right now I didn't actually cut out the window appropriately, but once I work on this more, because this is definitely a working project here, this is a window. So you can definitely see here the intricate tracery that went into making this. This was its own project in itself. Definitely satisfied with how it worked out. I ended up having to redo it several times to get it to look the way I wanted it to. The building itself has been modeled after hundreds of reference pictures that I have looked at. There are some inaccuracies that will be fixed, but otherwise this is almost spot on exactly how the architectural structure of the building is. The windows aren't accurate, and the doors are a little bit different, but I didn't have time to actually get indoors that I'm going to eventually be able to animate to open. And now we can go inside, which the outside definitely, as hard as it was, especially the roof here, with the actual shingles in itself, and modeling it correctly according to the actual building itself. This was tedious and almost boring, but otherwise the whole project itself definitely came out the way I wanted it to. But the inside is what took the actual most time. Coming into the entryway here, we don't got too much going on. There's going to be actual other things I'm going to be modeling to fill this area out, but once you actually come into the hallway here, you can see I got a lot of Gothic architecture, and that's what really took mostly a lot of the time to actually create this piece. The vaulted ceilings, and the various columns that I have created. I ended up creating several different kinds of columns. This particular entryway just is showing you the one. And then once we come through the entryway here, we're going to get into the hallway that is outlining the courtyard. This hallway here is definitely one of the larger profile pictures that often shows up, and we'll definitely get to see some more of those here. So definitely getting all of these vaulted ceilings and the geometry of it correct was definitely exhausting. Here, I really liked how the courtyard turned out. I have these columns here, definitely double spaced out. And alright, let's actually try to pull up my reference photos here and see how I can jump on over to that. One moment here. Okay, so I'm going to try to attempt to see if I can change what window I'm recording from. Well, typically it's going to make me open up a second recording to do so. So we will just continue with the tour as is. Apologize for the delay, but so yeah, we can go straight to actually seeing what this looks more like in a game engine, which I already have it set up to toggle on over to a different screen. Alright, here we have it. I have imported it into Unity, which is a 3D game engine, which is allowed to take these models that I've created from Maya and actually see it real time. When I'm rendering photos in Maya, each individual frame can take, for a high quality photo, anywhere from a half hour or so. Even if I really want a high quality photo, I can take 45 minutes, an hour for each rendering. Here in Unity, it will show it to you in real time. And I have put a simple material on it because unfortunately I didn't have the time to actually do the textures for the model itself. That's going to be a whole separate project in itself, but I'm going to be doing it, on which I'm going to be able to put the exact same kind of faded brick rendering, a paint that is on the actual monastery itself. So here, we're actually going to play around a little bit in my model that I created. Interesting enough, this is a first-person shooter project that I've been working on a different project. So we're going to actually be playing around in it with other bots even. And yes, I'm definitely aware of the music that's been playing in the background prior to this. I decided to let it play. I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, there's my monastery in the background there, so we'll try to get into it without dying. And this is kind of similar to what I'm going to be doing with the whole project itself. When I use it, there's not going to actually be this whole gunplay to it. So if you, rather than holding a gun, you'll put a flashlight, and then you're going to be coming in here, and actually I think I might have forgot to set this up properly. Nope, I didn't. I had to make this terrain walkable, which I did. So you're going to be coming in here with a flashlight. This is going to be a puzzle arena of sorts. Come on in here and explore So each room, when you walk into it, it's going to take you to a different scene. Now, there are some issues with how it looks, but that'll definitely be fixed in post. This is a little lower into the ground than I intended it to be. So here's the courtyard. There's the tower. This is actually a pretty iconic image here. When you're looking at this, most of the reference photos were people looking at exactly it like this. One of my moments of pride is getting to a lot of these photos that I hopefully might be showing you later are going to be almost matching up exactly to the reference photos that I see. And you can see some geometry errors here, and I'm definitely going to be learning to see what I did wrong here, if and what I can do to fix it. But otherwise, here is me walking around an actual model that I created. I think it was very satisfying. I can be definitely continuing this project after the conclusion of this course. And it's going to even definitely be able to showcase a lot of other things that I can do. And of course in here, this courtyard is going to have a garden. There's a pretty famous garden here that I will be definitely taking the time to do. So I appreciate you taking the time to take a look at what I've been able to work on here, and stay tuned. I definitely hope to show you more.